Welcome to Indie Depth, the show where we go in depth with indie filmmakers. Today I have Allan Sconza Jr. He is a writer, director, composer from Central Jersey. Welcome to the show, Allan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Allan has just finished, or is very close to finishing, his new short film called Run, which features a entirely costumed werewolf character, and I would love to hear about the challenges and was that everything you expected it to be?
More or less, I guess you could say. Like things didn't go as planned, but we made do with what we could do.
Right. So what were some of the things that came up that were tricky, or what'd you learn from it?
I learned that well, definitely sometimes actors we had a hard time getting the context in the actors' eyes to the one point where I was trying to put it in their eyes myself. I guess like things are easier to do when you're not on the set.
Sure.
But other than that, everything went pretty cool. I mean, well, the actor who played the werewolf in some scenes, Bryden, he got whacked a few times by accident. He couldn't, it was hard for him to say, but no major injuries,
Right.
I guess you could say. Yeah.
But not by a mafia hitman, by something on set.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I can see that definitely being a crazy thing to have to direct. Was his hearing impeded in any way, or was it difficult for you to communicate?
He couldn't hear anything. He couldn't see anything. We kind of just guided him around, and it was different. It wasn't the simplest thing trying to pull out an animalistic performance from a guy who can't really see anything. But
sure.
Yeah, we managed. A lot of tricks with the camera and just sort of guiding him along.
And
hopefully it looks good.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see it. And how did you approach showing the monster? I've always been a fan of Jaws, where sometimes they don't show the monster, but I don't know. Some things work when something just jumps out at you.
Yeah, I know when I was younger, I realized things like Jaws and Alien. It was definitely, I felt a lot scarier when you only got little glimpses of the monster and you don't even really see the monster completely until close to the end of the movie. So we went with that. So it's just a lot of hints here and there, and yeah, we try to hide them as much as we can. Plus, not to mention, with other werewolf movies, I noticed like whether it's like Silver Bullet or maybe not The Howling, but like other werewolf movies, when they showed the full werewolf, I was never really totally satisfied. It was kind of like, oh, it looks like a hair costume. So I didn't want to, yeah, so I didn't want to I wanted to leave more to the audience's imagination to fill it in than to show it.
And I think that's the key too, because when you don't see something, the audience's mind is always working. It's never completely just turned off and zonked out. So
right.
They're trying to fill in pieces of missing information, and for you to give them a little bit and for them to try to figure it out, it's a lot better than showing a whole werewolf in full light and then they can pick it apart.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So then, along those lines of directing, to get a specific result. I mean, right now we're talking about a horror movie. What goes into making that work? Like, what's the thought process in shot selection, in just the way you approach? Do we see it from a certain character's point of view, or?
Mm-hmm. See, I wasn't planning on making this until Robin asked me he said he was thinking of making a compilation of shorts. And it was funny because I had just had a nightmare about a werewolf. So I thought, all right, I'll write a quick. At the time, I thought it was like it'll be like 10 minutes long, but it ended up being 40 minutes long because I can't write a short script to save my life. But in terms of how quick we wanted to film, it was just we just wanted to go and do something. I like did a quick script. In terms of like logistics and stuff, I just figured let's just make this movie because we had like zero budget and like zero time, and it was difficult to get everyone together. So it was just let's go film everywhere, like in the middle of the street, in the middle of the night, just like drive places, hop out of the car, and film it. But as far as writing it, it goes a little deeper. There's a superficial plot that's a girl being hunted by a werewolf, but then there's a deeper story of a girl who she's always abused by like her boyfriend or whoever, and it's about her development of overcoming how to stop being the victim, I think, and start taking control.
That's a good theme.
Yeah.
Especially for, I imagine there's a lot of running and run.
Yeah.
Okay, and I imagine that low-budget guerrilla filmmaker style really carried over to maybe the frenetics that you wanted.
Yeah, I wanted it originally. Like when I was writing it, I wanted it to be a lot of Little Red Riding Hood sort of thing. I knew I wanted like a princess-looking main character, and that's why Amanda Troisi, who plays Gail, she's wearing like a white dress the whole time, and it's a lot like Wizard of Oz. Like she just goes and meets the different characters, and I wanted a typical fairy tale kind of feel to it.
Interesting.
In terms of mood, it was because I did have an idea. Like I was starting to get an idea of I knew if I was going to do a horror film, I wanted the music to actually be a character in the film, a lot like Jaws or or Halloween with the theme. Like it's like its own character, and I knew I wanted to do that, and I knew I wanted to combine sort of orchestral and like an industrial kind of sound, and I was like, how can I marry that fairy tale image with that kind of sound? And then it was more coming to be, it was just going to be like a rugged suburban fairy tale.
Okay.
So I kept with that. That's why a lot of the locations we picked, and a lot of their wardrobe and everything, it had that suburban look, but everything gets tattered. Like we made sure her dress was getting dirtier along the way. It was like everything was just decomposing as we were filming.
So I think one thing that a lot of people are going to be interested in is you've got a fully costumed werewolf character that, by the trailer and some of the images I've seen, looks pretty damn good. But you said you had no money. How does that work? How does one get that with no money? I think that's something that a lot of people will be interested in.
Well, I think the first most important thing is having a strong script. If you have a strong script, then sometimes you can work with, if other people believe in the script, you can get a lot done by just other people wanting to be a part of it. And I think that's what you have to do at the ground level. You got to find like actors and actresses who legitimately want to be in that film, and you try to make it as simple on them as possible, as far as like moving schedules around and stuff. And I think you got to keep in mind when you're writing what's practical to your budget. And what can you do and what can't you do? I mean, it was a lot of, I gave myself a lot of leeway when I decided most of this is we're going to guerrilla style film it everywhere. So I just thought of locations around here and when they close, and then go there and just film it. And then when people stop to watch you film it, just ignore them, keep filming. You know, we run into the park into the middle of the night. Like we had when we were filming there, the cops did come, but we snuck away, and it was really funny because one of the scenes we went to a park down the street. And as we were filming, we realized there's an awful lot of cars there. But I found out the next night it was a cop's birthday party in like the one building like we were filming in front of.
Oh no! Did he get a werewolf stripper?
I have no idea, but that was crazy. Yeah. So most of the film, like, yeah, it's us filming illegally, like just going places, trying not to catch the store sign.
Sure.
In it, and yeah.
Oh, that's good. I love that guerrilla style vibe. It's been a while since, I've done a whole project completely like that. I almost miss it a little. Oh, my chair just slid down, so that's a good time to break.